everyone, and welcome to the Gemini May 2022 Illumination reading. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot, a place for you to better connect with and illuminate your own personal spiritual importance, or more simply put, to better find where you fit. Hi, and welcome to everyone, both new and returning. To those of you who are returning, thank you so much for your continued support of my channel. I cannot express how much that means to me. And for everybody new, welcome. So this reading, we're going to go ahead and take a look at your internal energy, what you as an individual are bringing to the month of May. We're going to take a look and pull a few cards around what's going on in your external environment, what's going on around you, and then we're going to look at the challenge that Spirit or God or the universe is asking you to face and overcome this month to better unlock a part of your unique self, and so that as you move through this challenge and overcome it, you have a better chance of being able to see your path and purpose and experience a lesson that's really going to heighten your personal journey towards achieving your highest potential and recognizing your own spiritual importance. Why you're here. Okay, so Gemini, let's take a look at first your internal energy. So what are all my Geminis bringing into the month of May? So we're moving into Taurus season, and Taurus season is all about slowing down and really getting in touch with what you value, both with what you value about yourself and what you value in general. How do you like to spend your time? Who do you value spending time with? All of these things are very important as we move through the month of May. And we are coming out of May, moving into June. That'll be your season, Gemini. So your motto, Gemini, is I know. And the beauty of going through Aries season, where we really dig deep and discover who we are, we answer that I am question, and then we get a chance to move into Taurus season, where you answer, okay, what is that I am? What is the identity that I have? What's its value? What do I value? Then you get to move into your sign, where you get to know more about that value and what that value is worth in your external environment and the world around you. Okay, ooh, interesting. All right, Gemini. So we have Knight of Pentacles as what you're bringing to May, which is a really beautiful energy to have internally. This is one of forward planning. It's an eye to the future and putting in the practical steps to make something happen. This is the slow and steady, again, eye for the future. Now, where this can sometimes be a little bit of where we can kind of hold ourselves back is that this card harnesses the energy of Virgo. And there can be a little bit sometimes of where we get kind of lost in the details, or if something isn't perfect, if the next step isn't exactly as we had planned, we hold ourselves back or allow ourselves to be kind of held up. But what I'm seeing just right off the bat is that this is more of that positive energy of that, again, careful planning, forward movement, but in a slow, methodical, and really with an eye to the physical. This is practical plans that you're going to enact in the physical. In your external environment, however, we have the Tower, and this is a shakeup. The Tower comes when we have been a little too slow to move on something, when we maybe have dragged our feet making a change that we know needed to happen. Or when it comes more external to us like this as well, this can actually be when something happens external to get us to allow something to be kind of knocked down that was preventing us from enacting the plans that we want to bring forth. And what can that look like? This can look like, okay, maybe you have been planning on saving for a home, and you have the money in the bank, and you're starting to, you're looking for the different areas that you want to live in. You're taking a look at, again, how much you can put down. You're looking at, if you're going to start a family in the next 5 years, how many rooms you'll need. You're starting to do all of these very careful planning techniques. But maybe you know, maybe you know you need to move now. You know it needs to happen. Maybe you're actually already have a family and you've outgrown the space you're in, but you're like, well, I'm just going to keep, this is almost like where we can get, again, lost at the devil's in the details, where we get, you know, kind of that analysis paralysis, where we're like, yes, but you know, this, even though there's a home in this area that looks like it could be perfect and it's within our price range, you know, I don't know about the fact that, you know, the front porch isn't exactly what I wanted it to be, or that I have a driveway that's smaller than I was hoping, or the school district isn't 100% all 10 stars kind of thing. And it's when we get kind of stuck in there, but yet we need the room to grow, that this is when the tower comes in. This is when all of a sudden the place you're staying in now, maybe you're renting, you get a notification that, well, sorry, the building you're in has now been slated to be turned into condos and all renters have to leave. Or you get a notification all of a sudden that your job is transferring you someplace and now you have to move physically to a new location. It's not even now about the home, it's about actually moving someplace else, and you have to do it quickly. So this is, again, it doesn't have to be a scary thing. It can actually be something that gets the wheels moving, that actually allows some of those roadblocks that were there to push you towards probably what I'm seeing here with the Nine of Cups coming up as your kind of lesson, or what you're gaining out of this month as you meet this challenge out here, is that you get a chance to have a deep wish fulfilled. This is, the Nine of Cups can tie directly to making a wish for the Ten of Cups, which is your ultimate heart's fulfillment. It's this beautiful place to be in, just in general. The Nine of Cups is where you have a lot to celebrate and to feel emotionally connected to, and to feel proud of having that. But it's also where we get that chance to make that wish. And so that's really what I'm seeing here for you, Gemini, is that even though it may seem a little like, whoa, something might come out of left field this month, or something might kind of crumble around you. You know, this could also be like, maybe you're planning to change jobs or change career paths, and all of a sudden you get a notification that your company's going under or they're downsizing, and suddenly you're pushed to have to kind of fast track your plans. But again, don't look at it as a negative, because this is going to be bringing in a heart's fulfillment for you. Okay, so let's go ahead, and I'm going to pull cards now to take a look at what is the actual block? What is the challenge that you're being asked to face and overcome? Not just what this is specifically, but what is the actual challenge? Okay, so let's see okay, so we have the Hierophant. Okay, so I'm just going to say for some of you, now again, this is a general reading, so I will read this as general energies, but if this was a personal reading, this would definitely, I'd see this definitely around a marriage, possibly ending or possibly starting. So very, very interesting, Gemini. So we have the Hierophant, we have the Tower, we have Wheel of Fortune, Eight of Swords, Six of Pentacles, and the Hanged Man. Lovely. Okay. So the Hierophant and the Tower back to back. This can be one of two things. This can be where, again, for some of you, this might actually be the facing of either a deep commitment with somebody else, where you're actually making the choice to commit, and that's what's bringing down the Tower. That's what's bringing down the walls of what you've been hiding behind because you're making that commitment. This can also be where we are faced with having to walk away from a commitment, meaning that the Tower is also going to fall, but it will liberate you ultimately. So for some of you, this is going to be kind of the two sides of the coin. Now, in a general sense, this can also be, for those of you who are not dealing with getting into a marriage or getting out of a marriage, this can be where we are having to face kind of the rules that society has put on us, the rules that we choose to follow for ourselves, and having to realize that there may be another way. You know, maybe we feel that we have to have all of these steps in place before we do something. You know, before we move into the house, we have to be engaged, and then we have to get married, and then we have to move into the house, and then we have kids, and it has to all happen in this order. And yet, who says it has to happen in that order? You know, this is where we get a chance to kind of reflect on, well, what are the rules that I choose to follow, and why do I choose to follow them? Can I just live a life where, you know, this is almost like feeling like you're pressuring somebody into marriage where maybe you don't need to get married, you know, or this is, you know, the rules can also be like where you have to stay in a job making a specific amount of money because this is what looks good on paper, and this is what ties back into the education you had, and if you don't keep this kind of job and you don't fulfill these types of things, that then, you know, you're nothing. And so this is really, I think, the beautiful thing you're being asked to confront this month, Gemini. It are your commitments on what you choose to commit to and what you choose to follow and why. You know, there's an interesting thing, you know, where when you think about us having to follow the laws, you know, whether they're the laws of our, you know, where you're living, whether they're the laws of the religion that you choose to follow, whether they're the laws within your own company, the best business practices, we are the ones choosing to follow them. Now, granted, I'm not saying go out there and break the rules or break the law, but there's that element of understanding, of bringing the responsibility back to ourselves. That we we choose which rules we want to follow. We can go out there and people break rules all the time, every day. And that can incur, obviously, all kinds of, you know, negative circumstances, negative reactions. But that's your choice. You're free to do that if you want. Or you're also free to liberate yourself from the structures and the rules that you've created for yourself. So maybe this is something where you've always done something a very specific way. You know, you always work a 40-hour work week, and it's always been in an office setting, and you've always gone to the gym after that, and then you come home and you eat. You know, it's one of those things where maybe now you're looking at that and saying, wow, that's not really allowing for something that I really want for myself. Maybe I want more freedom. Maybe I'm trying to work on getting to the point where I don't have to work a 40-hour work week in an office. I'm trying to save and save and save to get to the point where I have financial freedom to not do that. But then this is something where something is coming in here to say you've waited too long, and that this heart's dream, this fulfillment, this wish fulfillment can come in for you now. But you have to let something come down. You have to see something in a new way. And that is where you get the chance then to tap into the Wheel of Fortune. So this is at the heart of your reading. It's what Spirit's asking you to embrace, to move you through this. Because when you think about the Wheel of Fortune, this is the movement of energy. The wheel is turning over. And it doesn't always mean that something dramatic is going to come in out of the blue and literally just the Wheel of Fortune, like we're going to win the lottery, or all of a sudden, you know, it's whatever, you know, the home magically lands in your lap that you've been looking for. This is more about understanding that the energy, positive momentum is moving in your favor at this point. It's almost like you've kind of come out of a side tributary into a river and you're now going with the flow. Suddenly the pace is picking up, and you have the ability to kind of just move with ease into what I think you thought was going to be a lot harder than you had anticipated. But in order to kind of get to that river, get to the flow, you have to stop clinging to the bank or stop looking for a way to, I almost get this feeling, this image of you as you're going down this little side kind of meandering, slow, you know, stream, that you're trying to find ways to crawl up the really high bank that the really steep bank that's really rocky and difficult, and you're trying as you're going down the stream to be like, okay, how can I manage to get up over this? Okay, if I can just get a little bit more strength, and if I could just wait until I get to that kind of boulder that juts out there, then I can grab onto it and I can get my foot up onto the tree, and then I can try to, and it might take me like 2 nights to climb up over, and it's like in reality, you're literally just around the corner from this river that's going to take you all the way around, and you won't even have to like work at it. So there's a little bit of something coming in there that's kind of like that, where it's like, it's time to kind of, I think, let go of something to change your perspective. And why am I saying that? Because we have the 8 of Swords coming up after this, and the 6 of Pentacles as your final challenge, clarified by the Hanged Man. So the 8 of Swords is one where we are trapped mentally. This is where we kind of get into that place where we don't see a way out, because we're stuck on a mental level in that realm of the negative what ifs. Like, well, if I do that, if I release this, or I choose to take action here, well, then this bad thing could happen, and that bad thing could happen. And it's, and what you realize here is kind of looking at this image is that these people are just meandering kind of blindly within these swords that are stuck in the ground. They can walk away from those at any time, but they're choosing to believe that there's no way out. And it's as simple as literally changing your mindset. And why am I saying that? Because the 6 of Pentacles is coming in here at the end. And the 6 of Pentacles is that beautiful reminder of divine balance in the physical. The energy that we put in will always be rewarded. Even if it doesn't seem like it's happening in that moment, it is a truth of just how the universe is bent towards balance. And what this is saying is that there's an element of success here, that you have enough, and that you will be supported. It's also a reminder too that at any given time we can be on the giving end of things, and on the other side, just a few short years later, be on the receiving end of things. So it's a beautiful reminder of sometimes we have to give and sometimes we have to take, and that's going with the flow. That's going with the wheel. That's allowing us to really feel like it's okay. Like if the time is pushing us to do something now, then it's time to do it now. And we will be, it may seem like a sacrifice in the moment, but it will ultimately be rewarded. And what's the final clarification here? We have the Hanged Man. And the Hanged Man is a divine pause to see something from a new perspective, to see what is, but to see it from a new perspective so that you have the ability to greet this tower coming down with optimism, with a sense of, I can handle this. Whatever comes in the unknown, I know that I can handle it, and I know that ultimately this is happening for my good. So for some of you, again, I think there's going to be something around, again, a commitment, that a commitment has to happen or has to be released for this tower. Now, again, this commitment can be around a marriage or a committed partnership, or this commitment can be around a job or any other type of real deep commitment that you have, decided to kind of stick to and hold yourself accountable to. And what you realize is when you kind of release that need for that commitment, you release the need or to hold yourself back from that commitment, that's when you free yourself. That's when you get that chance to move forward. And I know it may seem like, but if I follow this, if I follow that river, well, what if I can't swim as fast? What if the river's too bumpy and there's a rapids down the way? And it's saying, just go with the flow, because ultimately everything will be balanced out. And it'll be balanced out. The 6 of Pentacles is that it'll be balanced out in the physical. And I think for some of you, I think what you're seeing right now is an unbalance or an imbalance, meaning that you feel like you might in this moment temporarily lose something. It might be that maybe you are committing to somebody and suddenly you feel like you're maybe losing a little bit of your freedom because you're having to commit with somebody else to, come together with another individual. And that might seem like, well, I don't see a way to make this any better. I don't see a way for me to recoup the freedom of me living alone that I've had for so long. And this is to say, actually, the true freedom is in now that you have this committed partnership, and what this committed partnership is going to grow for you. It's not what you're giving up, it's what you're actually gaining from the experience. Same thing to be said, let's say if this was leaving a scenario, leaving a commitment. This could be where you're like, yeah, well, I committed to this career path, and I committed to the, staying in this, and I spent $200,000 in my education, and I committed to this path. I have to stay in this job for so many years before I do this. And this is when all of a sudden, again, the realization happens that, wait a second, I can make just as much money doing this. Even though I committed to this career path, in reality, it's more about my personal growth. So maybe in that career path, maybe you've actually achieved all that you really could out of going to school and then holding down this job. And maybe there's something bigger for you out there that can be equitable to it, but that's actually going to allow you now to continue your soul's growth. And you may again be like, well, I don't understand how me leaving being a teacher or a doctor is going to allow me to continue to prosper and grow in the way that I was hoping I was going to. With the Knight of Pentacles, I was planning on retiring at 65 from being a pediatrician my whole life. And now you're looking at it going, well, wait a second. I've been really wanting to be a public speaker. I've been really looking at public speaking, and I really wanted, I've been kind of doing it on the side, and I joined Toastmasters, and I, really thought about, I would love to coach people in this specific way. And suddenly, it might come to that point where all of a sudden your work says, well, we know we've given you this wonderful schedule and all of that, but we're gonna, we're downsizing our budget, and we're gonna need you to, work an extra 15 hours a week. And yeah, it sucks and we can't give you any more money, but I hope this works for you. And that's going to be that moment of I don't even want to do the job that I've been doing, let alone work for more for less. Why am I committed to this again? And then you're going to stop and say, but but I'll have to just apply to another, doctor's facility or hospital or whatever. There's no way I can get I haven't done anything in the realm of public speaking or mentorship or coaching. And what it's going to say is, if you take this opportunity to follow this dream for yourself, it will be returned. What you feel again that you're losing now, which is the security of the job that you've been looking towards, or the career path you've been working towards, it's actually opening you up for something much better to come in. So that's really what I'm seeing here for you, Gemini, which is actually beautiful. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to, and again, for some of you, this might not be happening in this month. This could be for some of you where, you're looking back and remembering, a failed marriage, or, a time when you wanted to commit and the changes that happened. And now you're realizing a lesson in that you're like, whoa, that actually freed me up to get me to where I am today. And I see what happened. And maybe you're being asked to face this challenge again, but in a different way. So for some of you, it's about looking back to see where you might have clung to something in the past, or where you overplanned, and where kind of fate stepped in and changed something, and where the benefit came out so much better. So really lean into that, Gemini. Okay, so we have for the concept of curiosity. So I'm pulling cards now for curiosity, courage, and contemplation, where we're going to look at some additional messages here. So for curiosity, we have cornucopia, number 11, master, number 11, and indecision, number 8. Two beautiful numbers. This is the number of kind of co-creating with spirit. It's walking through that doorway between what is and what can be when we really embrace co-creating with spirit. And then we have indecision, which is number 8, which really, number 8 plays to personal power, a sense of personal empowerment, leadership through personal empowerment, and also creativity. So what I get here is there's an element of where you need to be kind of curious about is when you think of the indecision, which I kind of get this feeling here that there is something, again, you're wanting to work towards, but to clarify this indecision, to clarify, should I walk away or should I commit? Should I stay or should I go? But there's this element of what feels like abundance for you. What would feel like, again, you had this ultimate wish fulfillment for yourself? What would make you feel like you had this beautiful cornucopia and you walked from Kansas into the land of Oz? What would feel like that for you? And I think that's going to help clarify this kind of indecision of like, should I commit or should I go? It's really kind of leaning into, what is your vision for yourself? What is your vision? What is your feeling? What is your emotional tie to feeling abundant? And be very brutally honest with yourself, Gemini. What does that entail? If that entails a committed partnership with all the bells and whistles, but yet, even no matter how much you've been working with this other person and how long you've been in this relationship, and it just doesn't seem like it's going there, and that doesn't feel right to you, then maybe it's time to walk away from this commitment, to understand that, to free yourself to find another that will fit that. So this cornucopia is really leaning into taking a look at everything you want, being honest with yourself, and allowing you to lean into the wish and not be scared of the tower, not be scared of what has to change to bring this in. So again, ask yourself that question. What is it? What would make me feel like I did win the lottery of life? Okay, now I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to pull a card for the concept of courage, and this is going to be where Spirit would like you to be courageous in taking action. So what to keep in mind as you're taking action for the month of May. What does Gemini need to know about taking action? Where to take action? And again, I always bring in courage with taking action, because it takes courage to make the decision to do anything. I mean, for some people, it is literally an act of courage to get out of bed in the morning. So no decision we make is too small. It is in the small decisions that we choose to make in our own behalf that really, equate to the totality of our experience. So we have surrender obsessive thinking. It says, if you're obsessing about a person or situation, turn the dilemma over to Spirit. Doing so will help bring you clarity or even solve the problem. I actually really like this card coming up here, because I think with the Knight of Pentacles, I have a feeling, Gemini, you've kind of gotten lost in your head a little bit in the overthinking, which again is not, with the Virgo energy coming through, it's the over analyzing, it's the analysis paralysis. And so it's almost like Spirit's asking you to say, stop obsessing, stop thinking about, like, this is almost like trying to control a person or a situation, trying to control a workplace, trying to control another person and what they're doing, and to let it go. And what's going to help you to let it go, to be courageous and just kind of letting it go for this month and be willing to see what Spirit brings in for you, is by really leaning into this. By every day leaning into what you want for yourself. What is your ultimate heart's fulfillment? What is that deep wish you want to see manifested for yourself? And look at it in all the detail and all the things you want. Don't deny your emotional needs. And just kind of hold to that for the month of May. And Spirit's going to come in and help clear the way for you, help clear the way to bring that in. And you don't have to, it's almost like you don't really have to take too much action this month, Gemini. It's more about kind of just turning off the brain and leaning in emotionally to what you really want. And that's going to kind of be the catalyst to this entire situation that's going on here. Okay, so now I'm going to pull a final card for the concept of contemplation. And this is going to be kind of the underlying message for this entire reading. This is going to be what Spirit would like you to keep in mind as you move through the month of May, is just really, again, the underlying theme for this entire reading. Okay, so we have, looks like 3 cards that came out. We have You're Already Doing It, Stop Overthinking, Keep Facing Your True North. We have Keepers of the Earth, You Are Not Alone, Ancient Ancestors Stand Beside You. And we have leap. You go first, the universe will catch you. Love this. So there is something, I mean, I always see this card with leap, the universe will catch you. It's almost like having that faith that when the time comes, when the tower comes down, if you have to jump from that burning tower, if you have to find a new job, if you have to find a new place to stay, if you have to find a new romantic interest, it's okay to take that leap. It's okay to leave the burning building or the tower that's coming down. The universe is going to catch you. The universe is going to allow that. The universe is honoring the trauma that you're going to have to kind of go through in here, because whether or not something opens us up to something so much better down the line, meaning, let's say, this is leaving a marriage, and yes, it was a difficult marriage, and yes, you're so much better since you've left that marriage, or you will be better, and it's going to bring in all kinds of new wonderful things for you because this marriage wasn't the right supportive one for you. In the moment, going through all of that, it's not to say that any of that should not be honored in the hurt and the pain and the struggle you went through during that time. That even when you look back now, you can say, gosh, I was asked to go through a lot. But ultimately, it was balanced. And it was balanced because Spirit honors and understands that this is traumatic. You are being asked to literally leap from a burning building, but you were caught and your circumstances did right themselves. They balanced themselves, but you also had to have the courage to take that leap instead of going down kind of in flames with that building. And I think with you're already doing it, stop overthinking. You're already bringing in what you want. But it's the obsessive thinking. It's the, why don't I have it now? Why isn't it here? Or when I get there, that's when I'll be happy. When this happens, when I force this job to do this, or when I turn 65, or when this person does this for me, that's when I'll finally be happy. Or that's when I can, make that decision to do that. And it's saying, no, you're already doing it. You're already bringing towards you what you want. Just keep facing and get ready to be courageous in taking that leap. And know that you are not alone. This is all being brought in, whether you look at it from God or the universe, or whether some of you do feel that there are ancestors around you, that there are people in the spiritual realm who are there, angelic guidance, or you name it. People can believe all kinds of things, and who knows if they are true or not, because we do not fully understand the beyond. But either way, whatever you choose to believe, this is really stating that know that what's coming in is within your best interest. So it's almost like kind of surrender, stop overthinking it, just keep doing what you're doing, keep wishing what you're wishing, keep working towards what you really want, but being honest with yourself as to what will really meet your needs and make you feel ultimately abundant. And then when the moment comes, get ready to leap. And it will be honored. You may not see a way forward, but Spirit does. And Spirit will allow you to see in time why this had to happen and why this was the moment that brought in that deep wish fulfillment. All right, Gemini, I'm going to leave you here. There is an extended to this reading where I will actually dive more into this wish fulfillment. We will take a look at this card. I'll go pull some clarifier cards. I will also pull clarifier cards for the Hierophant, the Wheel of Fortune, Six of Pentacles, and then an overarching spiritual message for you at the end. And then I will go into the theme of love, of what to expect in around the realm of love for the month of May. If you'd like to view that extended, you can click on the Vimeo link below. Otherwise, I hope you all have a wonderfully illuminating and I think empowering and liberating month of May for you, Gemini. And I look forward to seeing you all again in June for the next Illumination reading. If you'd like to book a personal reading, the link to my website is also in the description box below. Bye, guys.